Um, Tonight the program is called Full Moon Mantra Healing Kirtan. So full moon is always, there's more energy. Like if you plant vegetables, it's good to plant them before a full moon because the full moon will help them grow really well. So it has quite an influence on us. Once upon a time there was places called lunatic asylums. And Luna was for moon, right? Because it heightens emotions, it heightens kind of what we're going through. And so, you know, when we talk about healing, mantra healing, these mantras that we chant, I've received these mantras and passing them on from my teacher who received them from his teacher, who received them from his teacher. And these mantras have been handed down since time immemorial. They descend from the spiritual stratum. And they're full with transcendental potency. And that potency to heal our hearts, to satisfy us in the core of our hearts, to actually give us a deep sense of spiritual happiness. So, you know, when we talk about healing, you know, if you've had a big gash or even, you know, like a cut, I think this has just died. This just died. Excuse me, is someone back on?
Still going.
Okay. And like when I was a kid, I remember the road was being resealed out in front, and I came off my bike, and you know, get all gravel and stuff in you. You get cuts and things and gravel in them and everything. And many of you have probably experienced cuts, and you know, maybe you get dirt in them, or you know, there's something in them from whatever, you know, you've come in contact with, which enabled the gash or the cut to take place. And you know, it has to be cleaned first, right? First the area has to be cleaned, and when the area is cleaned, it's usually not very nice, right? You try and clean the area and it's kind of like, oh, you know, like, ouch, like, you know, don't get that, don't do that much, you know. And so, you know, so it's like, whether it's like that kind of situation where we're trying to, you know, heal, you gotta clean something before you can heal, or whether it's something like, you know, digestive issues, you know, and you have to do some cleansing thing before you can kind of heal. You know, you have to clean, and you know that, depending on what field of medicine you go to, but you know, if it's the old traditional type medicines, they can give you stuff that tastes really bad, really bitter usually, cleansing bitter herbs and things. You know, and the cleansing protocol is usually pretty unpleasant, but it's like we need to have that cleansing before we can heal, right? It's like, you know, that's kind of how it works, yeah? But with our hearts, we can chant these sacred mantras and they will heal, they will cleanse and heal at the same time. And it's not unpleasant in any way, shape or form, right? It's a really lovely process of cleansing and healing. And when we say cleansing, it's like, well, I'm okay. You know, like, what do you mean? Cleaning my heart, you know, it's like, I'm a good person, or I'm a nice person, or whatever it might be, you know. It's like, but there's so much, we've been in the material world, we've been what's called samsara, we've been going lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes in this material world, you know, taking on one body after another, and every body that we take on, we're going to experience our heart being hurt. Right? We're going to be disappointed by something, we're going to be hurt by something. And if we don't deal with those hurts, then they just accumulate, right? And they're just, you know, it's like that hurt, and then the next one, and the next one, and they just Do you know what I mean? They just kind of add up until we're just kind of feeling pretty lousy, really. You know, if we sort of do a little bit of self-reflection, it's like, God, there's so many kind of like cuts inside, you know. And the easy way to deal with that is to forgive people for being imperfect. Is major. You know, like we all want to be forgiven for being imperfect. So we need to forgive others for being imperfect. But we need something spiritually purifying and spiritually uplifting that will give our hearts so much inner peace and so much spiritual happiness that shines out of us. You know, that actually, it expands. And so you don't need to worry about, you know, a hurt that you received this time or some emotional pain that you had at that time or whatever. You know, it's like these mantras will simultaneously purify all these layers of conditioning, these, you know, impure thoughts and feelings that we might have towards someone else. They will purify us from all that and give us spiritual nourishment, spiritual uplifting, an uplifting experience of the soul. And we can, at any time, I mean, wherever we go, we're taking our eyes, our ears, our tongue, we're taking our body with us, and we can chant these sacred mantras anytime, any place. So you may be feeling, you know, like some pain, you know, pain of a loss of a relationship, or, you know, loss of a loved one, you know, a loss of a job for that matter, you know, something you found was really important to your life. And you can feel that loss, and immediately you can take these mantras and you can place them on your lips, you can place them in your heart, you can place them in your mind, and you can actually just rest. You can rest and find that solace, that solace that we all seek, right? We can actually feel like, oh, I can just let all that stuff go. You know, I can just actually completely relax. So there's many different people out there teaching mantras, but they all don't have the same, they don't necessarily have the same potency. We need spiritual sound that refers to the Supreme Person. We're a person and we come from the Supreme Person. And the Supreme Person, his names and him are non-different. Our names are like labels on us, but the names of God are non-different from him. And he is the most sweet, the most kind, the most loving, the most forgiving, the most tolerant, the most fun personality. And if I pass on some mantras and I don't believe in a person's name, right? If I don't believe in God, but I pass on these mantras, then there's not going to be the potency there, because I'm not being like a medium for those mantras, right? Like if, a simple example, if you're talking to somebody about someone you love, when you talk about them, you're going to ooze that love. Do you know what I mean? And whoever's listening to you, even though they may have never met that person, they're going to experience some aspect, some degree of that love, right? They're going to feel that because you're feeling it, right? And they will feel that from you. Does that make sense? Right? It's not, you know, whereas if you just talk about, you know, Joe Blow at, you know, on the other planet or, you know, whatever, you know, it's not going to mean anything. And so it's the same sort of thing. When a person is talking about someone they love, and that person that they love is the Supreme Person, when they speak, when they hand down these mantras, they will have the potency to touch our heart. I may have, you know, like an amazing orchestra or you know, backing band and a great voice or whatever, but if the mantras I'm singing don't actually refer to the Supreme Person and I don't have any faith in that person, then there's not going to be any potency in that mantra. It may sound really nice to my ears, but it won't bring that healing and that spiritually uplifting nourishment to my heart. So I feel incredibly fortunate that I have come in contact with a line of teaching that goes back to Lord Krishna, of great self-realized souls, and they pass down these mantras not to gain anything from anybody, not to get any money, not to get any fame, anything, just passing down out of love. That if you take these mantras into your heart and into your life, you will experience the warmth, the peace, the happiness, and the love that is inherently there in those mantras. And in the beginning, you know, we may go, I don't know about this. But I can guarantee you, if you practice and you open your heart even just a little bit and you kind of give it a try, you know, it's like, maybe it'll work. I'll give it a little try. And it's like, oh, that didn't hurt. Actually, I feel pretty good, you know. And then you try a bit more and you begin to add these mantras into your daily life, then you will feel the benefit of it. You will feel that whatever happens in your life, you can go within at any time and take shelter of these mantras. So as our heart becomes healed and we experience that spiritual nourishment, then everything will be all right, no matter what's going on around. Everything will be all right. Whoops. Namaste. Thank you.